Aloha, namaste, and welcome to my video of the Krishna book reading 6. And I apologize, I've been having some technical difficulties. I know it's been a few days to make the video, and all of you, I'm sure, are anxious to get to the next part of the Krishna book, as I am. And if this is your first time, feel free to go back into my YouTube channel and read and watch the videos. I've been reading from the beginning. So they're entitled Krishna Book 1, Reading 1, Krishna Book Reading 2, and so on and so on. And so what we're going to do is, like we normally do, is start off by doing some kirtan, which is the hearing and chanting of sacred mantras. And mantras are spiritual sound vibrations. That what has been make a spiritual sound vibration as opposed to a material sound vibration. In other words, a material sound vibration may be interesting and attractive initially, but eventually it loses taste and actually becomes a source of annoyance and aggravation and pain. For example, you may like an artist, for example, like Lady Gaga or Beethoven or someone like that, but if you were subjected to morning, afternoon, and night of having to listen just to Lady Gaga for 4 weeks, it would drive you crazy, even if you initially liked it at first. But with mantras, you can be not particularly interested in the beginning, but the more you engage in it, the more sweeter and attractive it becomes. And so we're just going to get right to it. And I offer my respects to my spiritual teacher with this first mantra. He taught me this process, which I'm sharing with you. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Siddhaswami Paramahamsa Itihamine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Siddhaswami Paramahamsa bowl. So we are going to get back into our story again. We were reading from chapter 2 in the Krishna book, entitled Prayers by the Demigods for Lord Krishna. I believe that's the right title. Prayers by the Demigods for Lord Krishna in the womb. So if we back up, we remember in our story in chapter 1, the story of Bhumi, Lord Brahma, and the demigods going to petition Lord Vishnu for help in the fact that there were demoniac kings on the planet. And Krishna had said he was going to come. And then we come into the story of Vasudeva and Devaki on their marriage day. Vasudeva and Devaki were acting as the parents of Lord Krishna. Now Lord Krishna, because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he may appear from time to time in different either incarnations or as himself in Lord Krishna in the material world, but he is still a spiritual entity. He's still a spiritual. He may apparently take birth in. Sorry, I'm adjusting my camera here. It seems to have fallen over there. And it seems like he has parents and whatnot, but actually his position is still as supreme. So he allows certain devotees to play the part of his parent in the pastimes that he plays out in this world. So, and of course we know that the brother of Devaki, who was a demoniac king by the name of Kamsa, tried to kill Devaki because while they were driving along and they heard the prophetic voice that the eighth son of Devaki and Vasudeva would kill Kamsa. And so he tried to kill his sister, of course, and then Vasudeva tried to step in and basically eventually came to a point where he was saying, okay, I will give you all of my sons, I'll hand them over to you and you can do with them as you like, but just don't kill your sister. So that was told, and now we're going to get into the second chapter. King Kamsa not only occupied the kingdoms of Yadu, Bhoja, and Andaka dynasties and the kingdom of Shurasena, but he also made alliances with all the other demoniac kings as follows. The demon Pralamba, demon Baka, demon Chanura, demon Trinavarta, demon Agashura, demon Mushtika, demon Alishta, demon Devivida, demon Putana, demon Keshi, and demon Denuka. So these are very important demons to remember because they will be appearing in the story of Krishna later. So remember that. At that time, Jardsanda was the king of Magadha province, known at present as Bihar state. Thus, by his diplomatic policy, Kamsa consolidated the most powerful kingdom of his time under the protection of Jardsanda. Jardsanda will also be appearing later throughout the stories of Krishna here. He's also another demoniac king who made an alliance with Kamsa. He made further alliances with such kings as Banasura and Baumasura until he was the strongest. Then he began to behave most inimically toward the Yadu dynasty into which Krishna was to take his birth. Being harassed by Kamsa, the kings of the Yadu, Bhoja, and Andaka dynasty began to take shelter in different states, such as the state of the Kurus, the state of the Panchalas, the state known as Kakaya, Shalva, Vidarbha, Nishada, Videha, and Koshala. Kamsa broke the solidarity of the Yadu kingdom, as well as the Bhoja and Andaka. And he made his position the most solid within the vast tract of the land, known at that time as Bharatvarsha. When Kamsa killed the 6 babies of Devaki and Vasudeva one after another, many friends and relatives of Kamsa approached him and requested him to discontinue these heinous activities, but all of them became worshippers of Kamsa. When Devaki became pregnant for the 7th time, a plenary expansion of Krishna, known as Ananta, appeared within her womb. Devaki was overwhelmed both with jubilation and lamentation. She was joyful, for she could understand the Lord Vishnu had taken shelter within her womb. But at the same time, she was sorry that as soon as her child would come out, Kamsa would kill him. And at that time, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, being compassionate upon the fearful condition of the Yadus, due to atrocities committed by Kamsa, ordered the appearance of his Yoga Maya, or his internal potency. Krishna is the Lord of the universe, but he is especially the Lord of the Yadu dynasty. This Yoga Maya is the principal potency of the personality of Godhead. In the Vedas, it is stated that the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has multi-potencies. Sorry, I lost my place there for a minute. He ordered the appearance of Yoga Maya in the land of Rajabhumi in Vrindavan, which is always decorated and full with beautiful cows. In Vrindavan, Rohini, one of the wives of Vasudeva, was residing at the house of King Nanda and Queen Yashoda. So remember these names, King Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, who were the residing king and queen of the Vrindavan village area. Not only Rohini, but many others in the Yadu dynasty were scattered all over the country due to their fear of the atrocities of Kamsa. Some of them were even living in the caves of the mountains. The Lord thus informed Yoga Maya, under the imprisonment of Kamsa are Devaki and Vasudeva, and at the present moment, my planetary expansion, Shesha, is within the womb of Devaki. You can arrange the transfer of Shesha from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. After this arrangement, I am personally going to appear in the womb of Devaki with my full potencies. Then I shall appear as a son of Devaki and Vasudeva, and you shall appear as a daughter of Nanda and Yashoda in Vrindavan. Since you will appear as my contemporary sister, people within this world will worship you with all kinds of valuable presentations, incense, candles, flowers, and offerings of sacrifice. You shall quickly satisfy their desires for sense gratification. People who are after materialistic affection will worship you under the different forms of your expansions, which will be named Durga, Bhadrakali, Vijaya, Vaishnavi, Kumuda, Chandika, Krishna, Madhavi, Kanyaka, Maya, Narayani, Ishyani, Shalada, and Ambika. So this is sometimes in Hindu religion known as Durga, also known as Maya in the material world, and Yoga Maya in the spiritual world, or Radharani. And in the material world, Durga's responsibility is to delude and to distract the living entities away from Krishna with material desires and desires for sense gratification in the material world. Krishna and Yoga Maya appeared as brother and sister, the supreme powerful and the supreme power. Although there is no clear distinction between the powerful and the power, power is always subordinate to the powerful. Those who are materialistic are worshippers of the power, but those who are transcendentalists are worshippers of the powerful. Krishna is the supreme powerful, and Durga is the supreme power within the material world. Actually, people in the Vedic culture worship both the powerful and the power. There are many hundreds and thousands of temples of Vishnu and Devi, and sometimes they are worshipped simultaneously. The worshipper of the power Durga, or the external energy of Krishna, may achieve all kinds of material success very easily, but anyone who wants to be elevated transcendentally must engage in the worshipping of the powerful in Krishna consciousness. The Lord also declared to Yoga Maya that his planetary expansion Ananta Shesha was within the womb of Devaki on account of being forcibly attracted to the womb of Rohini. He will be known as Shankarshan and would be the source of all spiritual power, or bala, by which one could be able to attain the highest bliss of life, which is called the Ramana. Therefore, the plenary portion of Ananta would be known after his appearance either as Shankarshan or Balaram. In the Upanishads, it is stated, Nayam Atma Bala Hinena Labhya. The purport is that one cannot attain the supreme or any form of self-realization without being sufficiently favored by Balaram. Bala does not mean physical strength. No one can attain spiritual perfection by physical strength. One must have the spiritual strength, which is infused by Balaram or Shankar Shan. Ananta or Shesha is the power which sustains all the planets in their different positions. So this is a really important point, that the illusory energy of Maya Devi, of Durga, of Maya Devi, Maya, she is a very powerful force to keep us attracted to things materially. And if we want to engage in spiritual life, we must take shelter of Balaram to have the spiritual strength to which we can serve Krishna and Balaram. Materially, this sustaining power is known as the law of gravitation, but actually it is the display of the potency of Shankar Shan. Balarama Shankar Shan is spiritual power, or the original spiritual master. Therefore, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is also an incarnation of Balaram, is the original spiritual master. And the spiritual master is the representative of Balaram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who supplies spiritual strength. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is confirmed that the spiritual master is the manifestation of the mercy of Krishna. When Yogamaya was thus ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she circumambulated the Lord and then appeared within this material world according to his order. When the Supreme Powerful Personality of Godhead transferred Lord Shesha from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini, both of them were under the spell of Yogamaya, which is also called the Yoga Nidra. When this was done, people understood that Devaki's seventh pregnancy was a miscarriage, so this was temporarily to give them, just have time to delude Kamsa into believing that it was a miscarriage and that actually there was no child there. Thus, although Balaram appeared as the son of Devaki, he was transferred to the womb of Rohini to appear as her son. After this arrangement, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is always ready to place his full potency in his unalloyed devotees, entered as the Lord of the whole creation within the mind of Vasudeva. It is understood that this connection, that Lord Krishna, first of all, situated himself in the unalloyed heart of Devaki. So the important point, this word unalloyed. Alloy is to mix metals, and unalloyed means unmixed. So the unalloyed heart means that the heart that is completely devoted to Krishna, without any mixed desires for name or fame or glory or material desire other than to serve Krishna. He was not put into the womb of Devaki by seminal discharge. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, by its inconceivable potency, can appear in any way. Then he's God after all. He can do what he wants. It is not necessary for him to appear in the ordinary way by seminal injection within the womb of a woman. When Vasudeva was sustaining the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, he appeared just like the glowing sun, whose shining rays are always unbearable and scorching to the common man. The form of the Lord, situated in the pure, unalloyed heart of Vasudeva, is not different from the original form of Krishna. The appearance of the form of Krishna anywhere, and specifically within the heart, is called Dhamma. Dhamma does not only refer to Krishna's form, but his name, his form, his quality, and his paraphernalia. Everything becomes manifest simultaneously. Thus, the eternal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with full potencies, was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki, exactly as a setting sun's rays are transferred to the full moon rising in the east. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, entered the body of Devaki from the body of Vasudeva. He was beyond the condition of the ordinary living entity. So it's known that Krishna appeared within the mind like a sunrise within Vasudeva's mind. And from there he transferred himself to the mind of Devaki, and then from the mind to the womb. He was beyond. Krishna's Supreme Personality of Godhead entered the body of Devaki from the body of Vasudeva. He was beyond the conditions of the ordinary living entity. When Krishna is there, it is to be understood that all his plenary expansions, such as Narayan, and incarnations like Lord Krishna, Varaha, etc., are with him, and they are not subject to the conditions of material existence. So because Krishna is known as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from which all things expand and extend. That includes the spiritual energies, the material energies, the expansions and incarnations are all coming from Krishna. When Krishna is there, it is understood that all his plenary expansions, such as Narayan, and incarnations like Lord Nrsimha, Varaha, etc., are with him, and they are not subject to the conditions of material existence. In this way, Devaki became the residence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is one without a second and the cause of all creation. Devaki became the residence of the Absolute Truth, but because she was within the house of Kamsa, she looked just like a suppressed fire or a misused education. When fire is covered by the walls of a pot or is kept in a jug, the illuminating rays of the fire cannot be very much appreciated. Similarly, misused knowledge, which does not benefit the people in general, is not very much appreciated. So Devaki was kept within the prison walls of Kamsa's palace, and no one could see her transcendental beauty, which resulted from her conceiving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we are going to continue on with that tomorrow and let you know what happens, how Kamsa reacts to that, and we will get back to that. And so thank you very much. If you have any questions concerning the stories, feel free to put some comments in my YouTube videos in the comments section. I'll see if I can get back to you and answer some of those questions. And until then, we're going to do some more kirtan. And so feel free to join along. Krishna Prasthaya Srimate Sira Swarupanana Paramaham Santinayane Krishna Prasthaya Haribo. And thank you so much for coming in, tuning in. Feel free to share this Krishna book reading videos with your friends, and subscribe and like to the channel. And we'll have a lot more coming up. I'm going to get through the Krishna book. There'll be more kirtan on there, and some other wonderful scriptures that will be coming up in the future. So until then, namaste. We'll see you next time.